This is The Poet by Renee Nicole Good, exactly as it appears on poets.org. She was murdered by ICE official. Tittle, on learning to dissect fetal pigs. Want back my rocking chairs. Solipsist sunsets, and coastal jungle sounds that are tercets from cicadas and pentameter from the hairy legs of cockroaches. I've donated Bibles to thrift stores. Mashed them in plastic trash bags with an acidic Himalayan salt lamp. The post-baptism Bibles, the ones plucked from street corners from the meaty hands of zealots, the dumbed down, easy to read, parasitic kind. Remember more the slick rubber smell of high-gloss biology textbook pictures, they burned the hairs inside my nostrils. And salt and ink that rubbed off on my palms. Under clippings of the moon at 2:45 a.m. I study and repeat. Ribosome, endoplasmic, lactic acid, stamen, at the IHOP on the corner of Powers and Stetson Hills. I repeated and scribbled until it picked its way and stagnated somewhere I can't point to anymore, maybe my gut. Maybe there in between my pancreas and large intestine is the piddly brook of my soul. It's the ruler by which I reduce all things now, hard-edged and splintering from knowledge that used to sit, a cloth against fevered forehead. Can I let them both be? This fickle faith and this college science that heckles from the back of the classroom. Now I can't believe that the Bible and Quran and Bhagavad Gita are sliding long hairs behind my ear like mom used to and exhaling from their mouths. Make room for wonder. All my understanding dribbles down the chin onto the chest and is summarized as: life is merely to ovum and sperm, and where those two meet, and how often and how well, and what dies there. Who was Renee Nicole Good? Renee Nicole Good, full name Renee Nicole Macklin Good, was a 37-year-old American poet, writer, wife, and mother who lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She was described by family and friends as kind, compassionate, creative, and deeply devoted to her children, a person who treasured writing, family, and community. She grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, later moved with her partner and youngest child to Minneapolis after living in Kansas City, Missouri for some time. Graduation cap background and education. Renee pursued her love of language and art at Old Dominion University, ODU, in Norfolk, Virginia, where she graduated in December 2020 with a degree in English, focusing on creative writing. Encyclopedia Britannica. While at ODU, she developed her voice as a poet and was recognized for her talent with literary awards. Notably, Trophy Academy of American Poets Prize 2020. In 2020, Renee won the prestigious Academy of American Poets Prize, awarded by ODU for her poem, On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. The prize is given for outstanding poetry and reflects excellence in creative expression among college poets. Memo: On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. This is her award-winning poem and the most widely shared piece of her work. The poem explores themes of faith, science, memory, and the human condition, and its powerful language resonates with readers interested in reflective, intellectual. Link where to read it. The full text is publicly available on the Academy of American Poets website, poets.org. You can search for the poem title there to read or study it online. Career, work and employment. Before focusing on her family and creative work, Renee held various jobs. She worked as a dental assistant. She also worked at a credit union. In later years, she was primarily a stay-at-home mom and writer, nurturing her creativity while caring for her children. She also co-hosted a podcast with her second husband, comedian Tim Macklin, before his passing in 2023. Family and personal life. Renee was a wife and mother of 3. She was married to her partner Becca Good at the time of her death. She had 3 children, a daughter about 15, a son about 12, from a previous marriage, and a younger son about 6, whose father died in 2023. Her Instagram described her as a poet and writer and wife and mom and shitty guitar strummer from Colorado, reflecting her artistic and loving personality. Friends remembered her as a devoted Christian, a singer in choir during her youth, and someone who took part in mission trips earlier in life. The tragic shooting. On January 7, 2026, Renee was shot and killed by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota during a federal immigration enforcement operation. She was legally a U.S. citizen and not known to have any criminal involvement. The incident occurred during what federal authorities called part of a major enforcement action. The officer involved fired when her vehicle moved during the encounter. Federal agencies described her movements as a threat. However, eyewitness video and local officials disputed that narrative, saying she appeared to be trying to leave and posed no clear danger. Her death sparked national outrage, grief, and calls for justice, especially given her reputation as a peaceful and creative mother. Vigils and community gatherings were held in her memory.